available in those 3 tones, so good luck. Now, great match on this next item. This is 454803 is the item number. You know, I have to say, when it comes to gemstones and gemstones jewelry, because as I said, I started off in loose gemstones and then graduated, if you like, into jewelry. And it was like the perfect circle, or the continuation of my career, is getting to see into full tuition, seeing everything put into place. And now you've got both, well, amethyst, blue topaz, citrines, and garnet. So again, those 4 colorways are still available. Big, prominent gemstone in the center. In fact, 1.5, they're each 7mm round. 7mm round center stone, great color coming through on them. The garnet I'm gonna grab here. Now that happens to be the January birthstone, happens to be my birthstone. You've also got it surrounded. You'll notice that it's got this lovely little halo design going on with white topaz. Now, white topaz, just out of interest, is probably the second most sought after stone for accent stones because of the way that it reacts to light, much like a diamond. In fact, there was a Portuguese, in the Portuguese crown jewels many years ago, in the crown there was actually a massive gemstone which they mistook for a diamond. It in fact ended up, when gemological testing came about, to be in fact a diamond. So that's your accent stones there. So I mean, you're getting all of that. You're getting a massive 7mm stone with those accents around the outside for $29.90. So garnet, let me grab this amethyst. Great tone again in the amethyst. You know, they called the amethyst, there's a phrase, they say the imperial purple of amethyst, because this tone itself, this specific tone of purple, was purely for royalty. In fact, it was one of those things where those people, those others who were not royal wearing this particular tone got in a huge amount of trouble. In fact, it was a beheading. So when I say trouble, I mean major trouble. $29.90. You'll see that, again, that wonderful design. The focus is all about the gem. Clearly, again, color is the biggest element here with the color gemstone. So by having it sitting just a little bit above those white topaz, it allows that reflection, that refraction of light from the white topaz up into the gemstone, and you see the colors coming through just superbly. 7mm round in the center. Everything has at least 4 flecks. So you're seeing here $7.48. That's all that's required. You have it sent straight out to you. Everything is beautifully gift boxed. I should also point out that you'll see on the set with me, we have an amazing jewelry cleaner. Which is called Sparkle Sparkle. It's extraordinary, non-toxic jewelry cleaner that I've never seen before. Just bring back all your gorgeous things back to life, because I know full well that when it comes to jewelry collections, we're all guilty of it, is that the pieces aren't necessarily always that clean, right? And so that can often be a deterrent to wearing them, because you don't have that wonderful sparkle and brilliance that you once had in the gemstone or in the piece. $29.90, $7.48 at the moment. Your choice in amethyst, blue topaz, citrine, and garnet. The blue topaz, again, a really lovely, soft, almost like a sky blue topaz. Maybe it's, you know, when it comes down to this weekend, maybe this weekend, this coming week is symbolizing a particular change for you, whether it's a new career, an interview, school is starting. I've got 2 kids, 6 and 8, and the summer holidays have been indeed very long. And in fact, the first time being Aussie, the first time I've ever had to tackle an entire summer of keeping my kids occupied. And one of the things with that is that comes that jubilation and that thrill of having school go back. And I'd want to thank all the teachers personally for going back to school. But this could be, the kids could be starting their very first day, right? This could happen. One of these gemstones could be their birthstone. You've got garnet, January, February is the amethyst, the citrine is November, and then the blue topaz is December. So it could be actually symbolizing that. And so every single time you wear it, maybe they're heading off. In fact, let me grab that citrine. Amethyst is the most popular. Let me grab that for you, just to remind you that you cannot make a bad choice. And this is, if you love gemstones as much as I do, and I've got to say that my relationship with gemstones started about 16 years ago. In fact, probably a year or 2 prior to that, a mate of mine, I was backpacking across the world, as often Aussies do, and a mate of mine gave me a pendant, and a chain as a gift. And these are great travel gifts too, by the way, because they often have many symbols. But it was a piece of lapis. And that lapis I had for many, many years. So, and one of the things about the lapis, which I found quite interesting, was he said, oh, look, you know, the lapis was to protect the traveller. Now, I can't guarantee, you know, when it comes to legends and lures, and I do often refer to them, I want to make sure they have not been scientifically proven. But if you think about the wonderful world of gemstones, it goes back centuries. I mean, garnet, they found a piece in the early 1900s that dated back to 3500 BC. That's garnet. Extraordinary. $29.90, 454803 is the item number. So whether it's symbolising the start of the school year, your child's birthday, an anniversary, just because you wanted to add a gemstone to your collection, this is how you can do it, $29.90. Because I have lots of loose stones, I have to say, lots of loose gemstones, but to have them set so beautifully for such an incredibly achievable price is glorious.